What's up guys, Dr. Etuket from Vigorized, where we help people take control of their blood sugar and energy without having to depend on medication. A couple of days ago, I spoke with a lady who had type 2 diabetes. Her blood sugars were really high. Her HbA1c was about 16%. To give you context, HbA1c should not go above 5.7%. So she was at 16%. That's super high. And one of her major complaints was she wasn't happy with how she looked. And everyone was commenting, her friends, her relatives, she was looking super thin. The bones were beginning to pop out and she was totally weak. Like she was always low on energy, always fatigued. So what happens in type 2 diabetes is that when your sugar is a little bit high, your kidneys have a threshold. They are not going to excrete glucose in the urine. However, at a certain blood sugar level, the glucose is going to start leaking to the urine. And once you start leaking glucose into the urine, glucose has calories, about 4 calories per gram. So if you're leaking a lot of glucose in the urine, you're losing a lot of calories. And losing a lot of calories means there's less energy available for your body. Your body has to find that energy for it to function well. So it's going to go for your muscle. It's going to break down the protein in muscle to form glucose, which can be used for energy. Fortunately, when you break down the muscle, first place where you start breaking it up is going to be your facial muscles, so the muscles around this region, around the face region, and then also your upper arms. By the time you start losing muscle at your buttocks and thighs, you have really done things wrong, or your condition has really advanced. And I see these people all the time. People who come in and they can't even walk. People who say that they can't get out of bed easily. Because to get out of bed, you need to stand up. But trying to stand up, their muscles are weak. They find themselves tumbling over. And then you just start helping them eat right, do the right kind of exercises to actually build back that muscle mass. And then they can actually squat, they can actually walk. One of our clients a while back, he couldn't walk easily. He would stumble when he's getting out of bed. But just in about 2 months, he could carry weight while squatting. He could walk long distances. He has a farm up country somewhere. And he says he could go kilometers upon kilometers walking, something which he could not do before he started working with us. So if you find yourself looking thin and looking old and people are commenting, go and check your blood sugar. Fasting blood sugar, HbA1c, that's a very good starting point. Fasting blood sugar should not go above 5.6 millimoles per liter, and then your HbA1c should not go above 5.7%. So building muscle is super important. And of course, eating enough protein, making sure that you're not starving yourself, making sure that you're sleeping well, those are super important. But I want to focus on the exercise side of things. If you want to build muscle, if you find yourself being super thin, you're losing muscle, I would recommend put a hold on the cardio. Yes, I know we all like that adrenaline rush, we like the endorphin surge which we get when we do cardio, we like the sweating, we like the camaraderie. Again, you can't achieve every goal when you do exercise. You have to be smart about it. Your body can only achieve specific goals, which means you also have to train specifically. So if it's building muscle, I would recommend back off the cardio a little bit. And for some people, I actually tell them back it off entirely. Just do your normal walking, walk up the stairs, nothing major, until you actually build back a significant amount of that muscle mass. So when it comes to building muscle, I talked about resistance training, super important for that. But resistance training exists along a spectrum. So building strength, building muscle, and then you also have endurance. So let's focus on the building muscle, hypertrophy. Now, it doesn't mean when you do strength training and endurance training while lifting weights that you can't build muscle. No, you actually probably will. But when you focus on this range of things, you're going to get the best bang for your buck. So when it comes to building muscle, you want to focus on a particular repetition range. And when we talk about a repetition range, it's effective repetitions. So it doesn't mean just do, say, 10 repetitions of, say, bicep curls. No, it has to be effective repetitions where it's the right form, good range of motion, and then you're getting as close or even to failure. So 10 repetitions where you can put down the weights and you're still happy with yourself, those are not effective reps. Probably you needed to do 20 repetitions for you to get close or to failure. So when it comes to building muscle, if it's compound exercises, movements which work at more than one joint. So if you're doing your pull-ups, your push-ups, bench press, squats, lunges, deadlifts, I would recommend that you look at the range of 8 to 15 repetitions for building muscle. You could probably start at 8 and then you see how to keep increasing one repetition, say maybe every week, maybe over a course of 4 to 5 weeks. So which means by the end of 5 weeks, you would have built from say 8 repetitions to maybe 12 or 13 repetitions. And even if the number of your sets remains constant, you've been increasing on the volume of your training. That's going to be very important for building muscle. You will also be building strength, but it's more biased towards building muscle. If you're looking at smaller muscles, so isolated movements, isolated means it's normally one joint which is being affected and it's one muscle. So like here, maybe if it's bicep curls, it's your elbow joint, it's your bicep muscle. I wouldn't go as intense 8 to 15, I would take that a little bit higher. Maybe I would go to maybe say 12 to 20 repetitions, or even more. You can even go even up to 30 repetitions for the smaller muscles. Yeah, that can work. Of course, when you start hitting above 25, you're moving a little bit more to the endurance side of things, which also helps build muscle. And it's good to go through the different repetition ranges. So previous videos, we talked about building strength, and building strength, you're focusing more on compound movements. So I wouldn't recommend isolation movements because there's an increased risk of injury. So compound movements, you're focusing on 3 to 6 reps if you want to build strength, and it's maximum intended effort. You want to pull, you want to push, you want to squat as quick as possible and get the weight up or get above, depending on which exercise you're doing. When it comes to building muscle, if it's compound exercises, you're focusing on 8 to 15 repetitions. If you're focusing on isolated movements, you're going for maybe 12 to 20 repetitions. I would keep it at 20, 25 max. 25 may even be a little bit too much. 12 to 20. And then the next thing would be endurance training, which also helps build muscle, but I would recommend you focus on this if you want to build muscle, which is super important for having a sustainable way to improve your blood sugar and also lose weight. If you want to get a system where you can actually lose weight and keep it off, you have to be building muscle. As long as you are losing muscle while losing weight, you are never, and I say you are never ever going to sustainably lose fat. You may lose the weight, it will just come back. It's just a matter of time. It could take weeks, it could take months, it could take years, but it's going to come back. And that's why I am a strong advocate against quick fixes. The Ozempic, the Monjaros, which are around, bariatric surgery, juicing, excessive fasting, depending on supplements, thinking that it's going to make up for the food which you're not eating. All this stuff, I'm totally against them. It's totally unhealthy. It's messing up your health. It's messing up your fitness. If it's quick, it won't stick. But if you want it to stick, then you have to do something sustainable. I hope you learned something about building muscle. Dr. Etuket from Vigorized, where we help people take control of their blood sugar and energy without having to depend on medication. Leave a comment below if you have a question about something. I'll be sure to answer it. Take care. Peace.